Howdy, it's David Duford. I'm here with a longtime agent that's worked with me, geez, years and years now. I think we're talking like 6 or 7. Thomas Dixon. How you doing, Thomas?
What's going on, David? What's going on, people?
It's good. It's good that you're here, man. We've done videos in the past, and I'm glad to have you back. Thomas today is going to kind of talk about his business model. He is crushing it as of late. I'm seeing 4, 5, 6,000 plus dollar AP weeks in the field selling final expense, and I'd like to have him on. That's why he's here to talk about what he's doing, how he's generating leads, and kind of how he does his typical day working those leads that he generates. So why don't you start from the top, Thomas. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
All right, my name is Thomas Dixon. I've been in life insurance industry since 2016 or 17. I was a former cable guy, did some time in the military, did a lot of work in between, and now I'm full-time life insurance, also a notary in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Cool, man. What attracted you to final expense?
A Craigslist ad attracted
Oh, yeah.
me to final expense.
Go figure, right?
The recruiter was just spitballing ads, and I saw it in Baton Rouge, and it kept saying one call closed, and I kind of ran behind that lead with the YouTube and other things, and here I am.
Cool. Perfect. Good. So you do some pretty, I'll say unusual, but different things. And I think you do the fundamentals, but different from the standpoint of doing like referrals and Facebook marketing, self-generation style. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit how you find your prospects? Because direct mail has never really been part of your strategy from all the years that you've worked in the business.
I started out with my warm market, and I used Facebook. In the very beginning, I did Facebook inboxing to friends, to my friends list. Then I started utilizing Facebook Live. I just did a bunch of Facebook Lives, kept repeating my name, repeating what I was doing. Eventually, they said, okay, he's for real. He's really serious about selling life insurance, and started getting the leads that way. People would inbox me. Then I migrated on to Facebook leads around 2018 or 19.
Yeah.
And, just been working with that ever since.
So I'm curious, because this is one of the things I've had a mindset shift on, is this whole idea of selling friends and family. A lot of people have resistance to it, right? It's like, I want to be able to go to, the holiday dinners and not everybody avoid me, I'm trying to sell them something. What was your mindset of approaching that, and kind of how was the reception and you telling your circle of friends and family about life insurance? How did they take it? How did it work for you in getting business?
I think what worked for me was they already knew me before then. I was kind of known for doing photography locally, and I became a notary. If I was doing notary work, can't pronounce that word. So they kind of knew of me already. And then I gave basic informative Facebook Live videos. And just from listening to that, I guess the trust was even doubled.
Right. So you're already starting with people, friends, family, business associates to clients that already trusted you. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, would you say that trust extends to the other products that you do as well? Meaning like they already trust you, so it's easier to trust you on the life insurance side too?
True. And also, like I tell a lot of agents, what me and you take for granted for life insurance to someone who's not in the business, it's like no one ever told me that. So I would just do the base stuff that we would consider basic. I would do on my Facebook Lives, and to them it was like, hey, he got the answers. Let me inbox him.
So what would your advice be to do the friends and family strategy in a way that's tactful, that helps people, but isn't going to like piss everybody off?
Probably the best way would be not to do a hard sell. Just ask them, have they been turned down for life insurance? And if they were, why was they turned down? And I can almost guarantee you it's going to be because of high blood pressure. Now, I don't want to get too medical, but basically They got turned down for something that a final expense agent could quickly insure.
And I laugh at that because it's like, that ain't nothing, man. It's like, and there are carriers that decline that stuff. There's companies that decline for just diabetes with pills, It's just
quickly.
Like, we love those, Yeah. Right. So let me just make sure I understand. So your focus with that friends and family approach was giving free advice, giving kind of guidance, etc. Not hard pushing, hard selling, bothering people to death kind of thing. You're just giving freely until somebody says, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, I want to do business with.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and I think this is good advice for everybody that's watching this. And this has been the thing I've had to fight against my whole life. It's like, I don't want to be perceived as a person who's going to bother everybody to death. Well, you're not bothering if you're helping. And if you're not slamming people constantly to buy, that's what people are repelled by, not by people giving freely. Because like you said, you're 100% right, Thomas. Our clients don't know anything about insurance. They're not licensed. And we take that for granted, you know. And I would say too that your friends and family would rather do business with you than some stranger off the street, right? So if they already know, like, and trust you, you know. So cool. So you've been doing that. That still works after all these years. You still getting business from that strategy?
That still works. You know, I got a lot of Facebook friends, and you know, what happens is somebody's mom or dad told them that, hey, I don't have life insurance, or hey, my insurance lapsed. And they said, oh, okay, well, I know Thomas. Let me inbox Thomas. Hey, my mom needs some insurance. Call me. Let's talk.
So do you find that you get, like, at this point doing this for what, 5+ years now, do you find that you're just getting random people that you may have talked to years ago inboxing you and saying, hey, so-and-so needs insurance, and just kind of the referrals have kind of just grown and come in at an interesting rate?
Yeah, that's kind of what happens. You know, it's being consistent with the basic stuff. And now the day came, they need it. I already know a guy, or I got a guy, call this guy, end up being me, and go from there.
Okay, so some questions about kind of tips about actually executing this social strategy. So questions like, how often should you post? Is there too much? You could post too much. Should you do written content, video content? What's been good for you?
Okay, just starting out, you need to be posting video every single day, Monday through Friday, also Saturday if you can. You just have to do it to get that traction going, so people will remember that you do life insurance. You can do a basic post such as, hey, just because you have high blood pressure doesn't mean you can't get insurance. Or, hey, you know, your mom had a stroke 2 years ago, still having problems with life insurance, give me a call. Just little tidbit stuff like that that'll make people ask more questions.
But won't you drive them crazy by doing all those videos all the time?
Nope. Because if you do it, like when I first started out, I was doing it consistently at 12 o'clock, and I think at like 5. I had a time schedule. I had like a TV schedule, so
right.
People was expecting me to drop a video at a certain time.
That's good. I like that. Okay, right. It's fun. It's funny how if you stick to fundamentals, just like the basic stuff, and you just do it long enough,
so you know,
it's just over and over. You got to trust the process. It's the same thing over and over. We've seen the same thing on YouTube. It's just put the content out there. That'll eventually get traction. So look at it's paying dividends now. So that's cool. So, and now you've implemented Facebook. So you're doing some kind of paid lead generation strategy to kind of supplement what you're doing with friends and family, right?
Right.
Cool. Well, perfect. So take us through kind of what your day looks like. So are you selling in person, over the phone? Do you door knock leads? What's your kind of prospecting strategy to get in front of prospects?
For 2022, I would say 90% face-to-face, 10% over the phone. For clients who I couldn't get to them, or maybe they live too far away, I did telesales with them. A typical week for me, Monday is like my office admin day. I don't do too much on Mondays. I just come in the office, follow up phone calls, admin work. I started making my calls for Tuesday and Wednesday on a Monday. I got a weird schedule, but it really depends on how the lead flow went. Right. But I'm scheduling appointments on Mondays. So typically Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm out in the field for the most part.
Right. So you working Thursday and Friday at all? You pretty much wrapped up by Wednesday.
If I hit my numbers by Wednesday, I'll wrap it up. But because the way my leads go, and also the follow-ups, sometimes people say, hey, I can't be available till Saturday, so I will schedule ahead. I don't do no more than 3 days in advance. I don't like to do a week in advance because everybody just don't stick to it.
Yeah, young and old, things happen, right? You know, so you really want to book for the next day. Okay. So you're doing that, and now were you doing that during COVID? I'm curious. So you mentioned 2022. What were you doing when everybody was locked down? Was it mostly face-to-face still, or telesales?
This is the crazy part. When COVID hit, I think around March, I shut it down.
Yeah.
April, May, then June, I was face-to-face like mid-June. I was face-to-face from June to the end of the year. That was my first big breakout year, was COVID year.
I remember. Yeah, that was your biggest year ever. I remember you and I were talking about it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, a lot of people, it's not so much of an issue now, but we were getting a lot of people, oh, are people going to see us face to face? And I'm like, we've been face to face at least since the summer of 2020. 2020,
Yes.
not 21. I mean, it's just I guess you get out there and realize people will compromise. You know, you take a mask if you're concerned about that stuff. But most
Yes.
people,
Sit outside. You know, we did that too.
yeah. The thing with COVID that helped all of us, what is that? It made everybody realize like we're not, you know, immortal. We're going to die. And
Man.
people saw death and they think about life insurance, you know, so it's in a way good for our business because it brings reality to the forefront. So that's very good. So I asked you earlier too, objections. What one objection I think people have the most time dealing with or trouble dealing with is like, let me talk to my kids. Do you get that objection much, and how do you overcome it?
You know what? This is going people may not believe me, but because of the way I kind of approach this business, I don't get that objection. Because typically the mom or dad has already decided to do the business, or the kid told their mom, hey, Thomas is going to call you. I'm going to come over. So it's in my case, the kids and the parent are on the same page 95% of the time.
Right. So you've kind of overcome that by the nature of your marketing, which is great, right? You don't have to
Right.
deal with that nonsense, really. So do you get any objections that much? I mean, like, what do you hear and how do you overcome it?
Probably the biggest objection now is people who still want to pay cash, or they want to write a check. I get that objection. And what's another one I get a lot? And price. You know, people who got some health issues and they are forced to kind of get maybe a policy that's out of their budget. I try to
Right.
say, hey, this is the best we can do. Let me work with the numbers. Let me massage it. So I get the
Yeah.
price objection and old school folks who want to pay cash.
How do you deal with the old school folks who just want to pay monthly?
I used to be real gentle. Like, Mr. Johnson, Miss Johnson, no, this is how it is. Now I'm like, look, Mr. Johnson, in this day and age, we're not picking up money anymore.
Right.
You either gotta either get your kid to get you a local bank account, or usually I do it. It's like they kind of want to push and see if you'll run with it, but I
Right.
just be firm with them.
Right. So you make a stand. It's like, this is just how it is.
This is how it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I find that's best way to handle it. Right. You know, instead of getting jerked around and all that nonsense. So that's good. Cool. Well, very good. Well, Thomas, this ends the first part of this interview for my agents in Duford Insurance Group. We're going to talk about some more details of Thomas's Facebook strategy, which are really cool and unique. Yeah, Thomas is super excited, and we appreciate him for doing it. So if you join Duford Insurance Group, you get this interview. If you don't, well, you know what to do. Learn more about us and what we do at davidduford.com/FAQ. Thomas, thanks for being here. Appreciate you.